Okay, so when you're making connections between flexible pneumatic hose and fixed fittings, here I've got a TCL sort of inlet plug thing, and here I have a fitting to 1/4 inch BSP screw thread. You can, the kind of fittings you get tend to be a sort of barbed tube that slides down inside the flexible tube on the hard part, and then you have to put one of these things on called a lemon clip or a O clip to sort of hold the pneumatic hose tight around there. Now, I'm going to show you how you do that, but first I'm going to show you how to remove one, because this one here, I actually used a clip that is too big. So you see, it's crimped down all the way, and so it's not putting as much pressure as it could on the hose. They're supposed to look a bit more like that with a bit of clearance, so that it's compressing the hose and there's still some tension left in the metal. So I'm going to show you how we remove this one, and then redo it, which will therefore demonstrate how to make these connections properly, as I should have done the first time. So the first step is to get rid of this metal thing. So here I'm clamping it up in the vise, I'm taking a hacksaw and just sawing it off. To get started, I've sort of come in at an angle so the blade is resting on the metal of the clip as I saw this part off. It means that there's no danger of it just going into the hose. So, bear with me, I'll just saw through this. That's hot. So once it comes off, it usually springs open because there is some tension in there. I'll get it a bit further with my pliers. There you go. One duff clip, that has to be thrown away now. It's no good to man or beast. Next, we need to move this part. It doesn't just pull out, so what I've been doing is taking a nice cutter and doing a few cuts up here. The hose tends to have lots of kind of nylon fibres and things in to make it strong, so you have to put quite a lot of force into the cut through. And there we go, I think that's out. There. That's what the barb fitting on the inside looks like. Right, now I need to cut off this piece that I have made a mess of. It's important when you're doing this, making the cut that's going to be the seal, you try and cut as straight as you can to get a nice clean end. If you cut at an angle, it means that when it goes on the barb fitting, it won't make such a good seal. So I'm just cutting a bit off there to try and make it more level. There we go. Right. Now, this is a fresh, untainted lemon clip. That's what it looks like. This one is slightly smaller than the one I used originally. They have printed on them the range of sizes. This one has 13-15, which means it's good for 13 to 15mm outside diameter of the tube. When you buy this part, these are specified for the inside diameter, and this is specified for the outside diameter, so you need to get different ones depending on the thickness of your tube. Anyway, so slide that over first, that's loose on there, and then push this thing in. It usually takes a fair amount of force. I can go so far by hand, then I need to press it against something, and push it down the rest of the way. There. Now you see why it's important to make that clean cut, so it goes all the way up to the part there, and so as much as possible, well, it means all of the tube is actually, you know, in that barbed area, and so it's going to be past the seal. If it was at an angle, it would come down there, for instance, and therefore less tube would actually be sealing on. Anyway, we ideally want the lemon clip to be, I think, about halfway along the barb tube, so that the force of this is then sort of compressing the rubber on either side, and you get a longer area sealed. The way you close them up is by using one of these pairs of pincers. I got these for a few quid from Tool Station around the corner for me. They don't need to be anything fancy. Anyway, you get the pincers and you carefully grab the lemon clip. That's probably a good angle. So you make sure you get it and you're not catching any of the tube or anything. You give the first one a bit of a squeeze, not all the way, just to put some tension on, and it goes stiff. Doesn't move around anymore, that's good. Then give the other one a much bigger squeeze. Put a fair amount of force in there. Right, go and put a little bit more on the first one. Now the instructions I've seen say if you squeeze it so hard the other side starts to open out, that's great, but I've never managed to squeeze them so hard myself. I think I just don't have the strength for it. Keep squeezing both sides until basically it's as squeezed as I can. And there you go, that's what it should look like. I'll hook that back up and hopefully it won't leak.